Wagwan, my loves, knowledge butterfly. As I always say, you guys are peace, blessings, love, and abundance. My hair feels really soft. I tell you, I really love that aloe vera. But anywho's, real quick, this video is about why the melanated female, why the tables flipped. All right, we all know that there is yin and there's yang. There's cold and there's hot. You know, there's basically duality. We're in the land of duality. So the reason why we're in the land of duality is because God is one, encompasses everything that the two physical eyes can see, and the things that the two physical eyes cannot see. God is in form, and God is formless. All right, we are God walking around in the form. All right, and it's not the flesh that is God. This is literally the temple that's holding God hostage. All right, and most people's God energy and goddess energy is sleeping in slumber, and until you awaken that energy, um, fully, or as fully as you can, by illuminating your pineal gland, moving your kundalini energy up, and having your crown chakra, be illuminated, meaning that all your chakras are in balance and you have gold at the end of the fucking rainbow. Until you really do that, you haven't really tapped into the full aspect of your God status, and better yet, your Titan status. All right, the great old ones, your ancient knowledge and your ancient DNA, because you're literally what spirit showed me is you're moving, because your kundalini energy sits at the base of your spine, which is where Dr. Alema Bay talks about all the time the four proteins, which are the building blocks of human DNA, which is ATCG, adenine, thymine, cysteine, and guanine. Those four building blocks is where your kundalini energy sits, which also is where your DNA sits, and your DNA spirals like a snake pattern. It's the yin and the yang spiraling like this, right? And so that's Jacob's ladder. You're climbing the 32 vertebrae in your spine, and you're hitting that 33rd. Well, this is actually the 33rd. Is to me really the pineal gland. That's when you become the master, all right, of yourself. And so I don't know, why am I getting? Why was I getting into all this, guys? Let me take a sip of water. I'm thirsty. I've been drinking a lot of water lately. I'm preparing for my Reiki attunements, and also my body's been feeling like she wants water like that. So anywho, as I was talking about the kundalini energy moving up to your spine, and that is your yin and your yang principle moving up, 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 and then kissing the pineal gland and illuminating your crown. Not for some reason, it might come back. It'll come back to me when it's supposed to, where I was going with that. But so anywho's, getting back to why the feminine energy. All right, so the feminine energy got suppressed because we started to abuse the power that we have. And we already know that. Foxy Brown said before that pussy is power, basically. The feminine energy is very, very powerful. You know, they call it black magic, dark magic. It's tapping into, you know, all that potential. So it's literally where everything originates. And so what we were doing is we were casting spells, and we were doing all this type of things that was going against people's free will. And remember, we live in a free will universe, and that's the only fucking real rule or law. Even though we have the seven laws, which are the universal law, but I'm talking about this is the only law that really is something that man should not go against, because all of the other things, that the rules and the regulations that they put here on this plane, if people were actually in line with their higher self, they wouldn't really be doing it anyway. You actually start living more righteous, right? But we started living unrighteous, and we started casting spells, love spells, and doing all these things, going against people's will, controlling people. And when that happened, that put us at the opposite side of the pendulum. So the pendulum for the yin was swinging up and the yang was down, because we was controlling niggas, right? So because we were doing that, of course, if you go too far to one side, the pendulum's going to going to gain momentum, and it's going to swing all the way to the other side. So then the yang energy, the masculine energy, was up, and so that's why we were in a patriarchal society. And then we had the men suppressing the women and calling the women evil because of the power and stuff that we yielded, and they were afraid of us. Okay, and so as we started to go to sleep, we started to forget that shit, and so we started to come into this victim mentality of why is this shit happening. You know, we're talking about our skin and all this physical shit, but it's because of the spiritual stuff that we do. We are very, very spiritual beings, and when we are innately and tapped to our spiritual shit, we can do some really magical shit. We already do magical shit when we're not totally in tune with it, because it's still there. However, it's more unconsciously being activated. But when we consciously are aware of it, we do things like voila, magic. You know what I'm saying? So this was a really short video. I'm not gonna really get into detail about the history, but that's really the gist of it. Ladies, we're powerful. That feminine energy is powerful. Men can tap into that yin energy as well. That's really where a lot of artists be pulling all that shit from, and you know that's why songs just be going off like that, because they tapping into that shit. But that's really the general idea of what happened. We had went way too far to the left, therefore the pendulum swung to the right for us to become more of a traditional patriarchal society. And everything happens for a reason. Everything is divine. It had to go from one end to the other in order for us to get into back into the middle and get into our balance. All right, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know it was something else I was talking about, but don't worry about it. I'll rewatch this video, and then I can always talk about that later, guys. I appreciate you. Like I said, as always, I'm thirsty, and I really I'm starting to get into the wind down mode, like the chill mode. But if this is your first time watching my videos, thank you for tuning into my channel, loves. If you want to continue to gosh, what is it going right here? Bring it back, girl. Bring it back. If you want to continue to listen to content which is revealing and explaining, you know, the reason why we're in the predicament we're in, and also just talking about spiritual shit, you can go ahead and like this video or subscribe to my channel as well as you can turn on the notification so you can be notified of whenever I drop new videos. All of my links are at the bottom for my social media, also for you to support my channel. I have for the love donations, and I also have my business Heal Soul. I have the email address so you guys can contact me for a consultation. I will go ahead and end the video on that note. I appreciate you guys again. Peace.